opportunity. So, 19 years ago, exactly 1 week from tomorrow, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. I had just turned 40. My kids were 6 and 9. I have 2 boys. Now you know I'm going to be 60 this year. I'm 59. So, so no cancer in my family, nothing. So I go into the doctor because my husband had a colonoscopy, and I thought, oh, that sounds like something fun to do. I've done 10, so I can give you lots of advice on that. So I remember when I was waking up kind of from the anesthesia, and my husband, all I wanted to do was eat. And my husband's kind of leaning on a little bed thing, and I look over at the doctor's face, and he had this really grim look on his face. And I'm like, is everything okay? And he goes, no, it's not. And I said, what do I have, like a tumor or something? He goes, you do. And I said, is it cancer? And he said, yes. And I said, am I gonna die? And he goes, I don't know. And my 6'4", 230-pound husband proceeded to collapse onto the floor. He literally bounced, and all the doctors and nurses are going whoosh on him. Okay, you know what? There's a lot of guys in the room, but seriously, this was not about him. Get off him and get back over to me. They have the smelling salt, and anyway, they got him back around, and I'm thinking, oh boy, we're gonna have to talk about this one. So the doctor said, we're gonna put you in for emergency surgery. They did. They took a foot of my colon. They were able to resect it. The tumor, when they found it, was the size of a lemon and already had grown outside my colon wall. Now, I want to show you something, because that picture, oops, I don't want to do that. That picture at the bottom was 3 months before I was diagnosed. I don't think I looked very sick. I mean, I don't look cute with my hair like that, but I didn't look very sick. And so I always tell people, when they say, oh, I'm fine, I take care of myself, I don't have anything wrong, no family history. Really? Well, I didn't know I had a tumor inside of a lemon either. You don't know what's going on, on the inside. So, after the surgery, they told me, unfortunately, because of where I had gone to, I had to have chemo every week for 6 months. That was a very daunting thought. And all I could think about was my kids. They were 6 and 9. I do love my husband, but oh God forbid if he had to raise them alone. I don't know where we'd be right now. So a doctor that was actually treating him for an autoimmune disorder had been doing all this research. And over and over and over again, all he kept reading was that whole food. You need fruits and vegetables in your diet. You need whole foods. And he said the problem was nobody would comply. So he's telling his patients what they need to do, but they wouldn't do it. How many of us are like that, too? So he was introduced to Juice Plus, and he's like, oh my gosh, this is the solution. This is it. I can get people to do this. They take capsules or soft chews. I can get all that nutrition in their bodies every day. So he told Steve about it. Steve came home, told me about it. Well, I looked at all the studies. Of course, it's in Dr. Lingo. I didn't really understand it, but I thought it looked really good. This makes total sense. It's just food. So the day I started chemo, I was in my doctor's office and the oncologist, and I said, I'm going to start taking Juice Plus. And he goes, oh, that's just really stupid, don't do it. Really? You don't even know what it is. Why are you telling me not to do something we don't even know what it is? All those things are all stupid. So I'm saying this because I'm so glad I did my due diligence. I'm so glad I did not listen to him. I'm so glad I decided to take it. So I had started taking Juice Plus just a few days prior to that. Well, they always monitor your blood work. Well, I was so anemic from the cancer that my hemoglobin, that's your healthy red blood, was down to 7 points. Normal, you can die at 6. Normal for a woman is 11 to 15. And he said, that's really bad. Chemo's gonna make it so much worse. Take at least a year to get back in the healthy ranges. Okay, so I had chemo every Monday. I had to go back to work on Tuesday. Like I said, I worked full time. In 2 months, he calls me. You never want your oncologist calling you, ever. And he goes, I need to know what you're doing. And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, I need to know what you're doing. And I said, what? He goes, Jamie, I've been doing this for 30 years. He came from City of Hope. And he said, your hemoglobin went from 7 to 14.6. I said, I'm taking juice plus. And he goes, what is that? I go, that stuff you told me was stupid not to do. And he goes, okay, you need to bring me all the stuff and all the science. Well, two really good things came out of that. One, he started taking juice plus immediately, needless to say. And he said, I apologize. I will never, ever, ever tell somebody to not to do something or to do something without getting all the facts. So when I talk to cancer patients or anybody with any debilitating illness, I say, you know what? Make sure you are part of that process. Ask questions. They don't know everything. My doctor saved my life. I'm not saying they didn't, but I'm so glad that I took the extra step to add that support to my body because, like I said, it'll be next year. So, yeah, 19 years, 10 colonoscopies, and I'm fine. So, yeah.